So today we're checking out the latest from TCL. This is the TCL 20 Pro 5G, and as usual, I have a few extras for you guys. How many extras? That's 10 phones total for subscribers here in the channel. So make sure to subscribe and then leave your Twitter handle down in the comments as usual for your chance to win one of these new 5G smartphones from TCL. What do I have in front of me? This is the Moondust Gray version. Actually, they're all Moondust Gray. There is a kind of marine bluish color. This is the more subdued of the two color options. This one is 6 gigs of RAM, 256 storage. I know it has Snapdragon inside, and I know they take a certain approach to the camera modules so that they don't extend past the body. They lay flat. They're embedded. This has been a trend amongst their devices, their flagship devices over the past couple of generations. I need a knife. Where do they go, these knives? Perfect, thank you very much. Let's cut the seal and see what this is made of. Okay, so the first thing you're greeted with is the phone itself, display greatness. So I guess they're making a pitch there as far as the display is concerned. I know it is an AMOLED display and it does kind of curve around the edges. Actually, I'm gonna put this down for a moment and just check out the other items in the box. So you're gonna have some paperwork. That's a little SIM tool. This is a charge brick. Does it tell me how quick it is, how powerful? I think I saw this, Jack. Did you see this? 18 watt. So I believe this is an 18 watt fast charge power brick. Oh, the other thing to keep in mind right now, this is aiming to be an affordable 5G device available in a number of different regions, including right here in North America, with a target price around 550 bucks. So view this spec sheet through that lens. Also in the package is a USB Type-C cable. It's white, this is white, fairly simple unboxing experience. All right, let's peel. Oh, we can just slip it right out. Thank goodness they put the sticker on the package instead of right on the phone that I have to peel it off. This is quite an executive look, and maybe it doesn't come through to you on camera, but in person, I've handled so many devices with large, bulging camera units. To have this super compact and streamlined look, and I mentioned this on the previous models as well, you just lay it on the table, it's completely flat. Does that matter? I mean, it's more of an aesthetic thing than a functional thing, but I think some people are gonna appreciate the fact that it's slick the whole way. So as far as the design is concerned, you have this glossy portion, polished portion up along top, which houses your camera modules. Below that, you have this more brushed material. The whole thing, I'm pretty sure it's glass, feels like glass. And this is gonna be a little bit more resistant to fingerprints. And so since it covers the majority of the back, that's kind of a nice thing to have. You have this color indicator on the power switch, volume rocker up above there. This has a headphone jack in it, which is, well, that's kind of a nice little bonus hanging in there on this device. That looks like an infrared as well if you want to use this as a remote. On the bottom, we have our USB Type-C connector as well as the SIM card tray. The speaker is there as well. And then over on this side, what exactly is this button? Smart key button. So I presume this is going to be programmable. You might want to have it trigger your assistant application. Now I can tell as I'm booting it up here, it has a hole punch design. It's actually fairly slender in the hand. So a 2400 by 1080 display at 6.67 inches. A 93% screen to body ratio. And it's one of these situations where you have such a slender frame on the side and everything is sort of falling around the edge that it feels more slender in your hand than it probably actually is. It's one of those design tricks going on there. So it's a 20:9 aspect ratio, so slender and tall. Yeah, okay, so the only thing you're gonna see on the front is this hole punch, which they decided on a symmetrical central front-facing camera. So let's go ahead and take a look at this display right here and jump into some of the settings. You may have noticed that hole punch, symmetrical hole punch up in the center of the display. You may have seen this feature before, but if you would prefer to have a more typical bezel on the top, you have that option to enable that, or just to leave the hole punch. That's probably what I would do. So this is that 18-watt power brick capable of fast charging, and they've even got a fancy little animation for those that like those. I think it's a nice little touch to have it there. And you'll be watching these little beads sort of fill up this rectangle of your entire battery life. And the battery, by the way, is 4,500 milliamp hours. Okay, next up, we have our unlock options. So there is an in-display fingerprint scanner. There's also face unlock, which is optical based. That'll come through the front-facing camera. Now, that front-facing camera, actually 32 megapixels. You'll see a selfie test in a moment. There's a smart key on the side, as I also mentioned previously. You may want to use this to trigger your assistant, but you can, I mean, as you can see, there's a ton of options for whatever you want to do with that smart key. It's up to you. Looking around the side of the device, really, if there was one sort of personality trait to this phone, it would be sleekness. Since you don't have any type of enormous bump out for the camera, the whole thing is very slender. They somehow managed to still pack in a number of different camera units, but just embed them into the design of the phone to keep it really slick, as you can tell right here. Now, we are going to have some camera samples so you can see the performance of each individual unit. One thing I was surprised by was some of the close-up capabilities, being able to get super close focus and detail. Here's some slow motion to look at. 120 FPS at 1080p. This was the most usable slow-mo that we actually tested on this particular device, like the best balance of slow-mo and quality. Here's the super macro mode that I mentioned. I mean, you can get up tight on things, but you've also got the versatility of an ultra wide, which is a must for me. Here's the 1x camera performance, and this is in a lit studio, but as you'll see in a moment here, even with the lights off, the night mode is actually surprisingly capable. There's zoom in there as well. You just saw the 10x zoom. So here the lights are going down in what they call super night, and this shot was taken by Mo, and he's been shooting all the various night modes, and he himself said, that's a pretty nice night mode right there. Here's the beard hair test on the selfie. This is where having a little extra resolution on the front camera pays off. And here's some 4K 30 FPS video. As you can see, Kovu's, he's almost all grown up now. How the time flies. TCL, another company putting out some smartphones. They have shown off a little bit this fold and roll concept, but we have a couple GIFs here that fired me right back up. Okay, so let's take another look at this display. This is an AMOLED panel, HDR10 capable, and 420 nits of brightness. Resolution 1080 by 2400 pixels, and it is that slender ratio 20:9 with a 395 ppi density. As far as those cameras go, the main unit is a 48 megapixel f1.8. That's a 26 millimeter wide. The next camera is an f2.4 16 millimeter. That's the ultra wide, 123 degree field of view. There's a 2 megapixel f2.2 macro, and then a 2 megapixel depth. Internal storage is 256 gigs with 6 gigs of RAM, and it's running a Qualcomm Snapdragon 750G. That, of course, is a 5G capable chipset. So there you have it. That's the TCL 20 Pro 5G. And just a reminder, we have a couple stacks of them for you guys, 10 in total. So for your shot at winning, make sure to leave your Twitter handle down in the comment section of this video. Good luck.